Good evening everybody, today we are back with a brand new video and I'm going to be doing more of our Love Island street. I'm trying to get this done before Christmas. I can't guarantee it, but I'm just really hamming home on all of these buildings. So if you've missed the previous episodes, we're basically just doing the entire street from the film Love Actually. We have done the pink house now, which I think looks super cool, and basically we're almost finished with this one side of the street and then we're just going to be doing the other side as well. I think we've done like a few houses on the other side, but not the full length of it, but I think we can probably either fit one or two on this side and then we're finished. We use this little Google Maps street view in order to get the idea of what all of the buildings look like as well, but let's see how far we can get in this episode today, guys. So the first one that we're going to be looking at is the one right next to this white house that we built last time. It is basically really similar, except for it doesn't have an additional balcony right in front of it. I'm now trying to work out if I want to do like two here. The problem is that they're not exactly the right length, so what I think I'm actually going to do is pull them in, and then that will give us the right length to be able to then only do one, because what I've been doing is I think they've been like 5 each. Yeah, they've been pretty much 5, and that wouldn't give us enough to be able to do the next one, so we'll just pull it all in and then we'll do the street ends like a little bit earlier, which I think might look a little bit better anyway, because at the minute the street just kind of drops off. So looking at this being sort of the last house on the end, which obviously isn't the last house on the end of the actual street, but we cannot do it like much longer, so we'll just leave it there. The main point was that we kind of got that pink house in the center, which is exactly what we've got. So from looking at the top part as well, we don't have stairs that lead up there, but we do have obviously the two little sections where the windows are right at the top that we've been having on literally all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and just add all of those in. It's not that exciting, so I'll just skip that for you guys. Okay, so now we've gone in and done all of our rooftop section. The windows do look a little bit different from the ones we've been previously using, so I think I'm just going to use these like little modern sort of skinny ones, because that's kind of the look they're giving rather than the ones that we've been using for the last few buildings. And then plant wise, we actually have very similar plants, I think, to the ones that we've got on the pink house, which we just used like this square of plants. There is also little, like, from the looks of it, planters directly in front of the windows. So I think I'm just going to grab one of these types of planters and then just make them smaller. Or just, actually, I could just leave them as is. I think that looks pretty good, because there's like 2 planters just basically in front of the windows. Then it's blue, this house, but it's like a desaturated blue, so hopefully we can kind of mimic it. Okay, then for the outside of the building, we have this, obviously like all of them are brick, but for some of them we've had to like sort of avoid the brick color, but it's basically just this kind of bright sort of desaturated blue. So I'm going to see if I can get anything like that. If not, we might have to go with sort of one of the other blue colored like bricks that we've gone with before. There's not like that many options, but we do have this one which is almost perfect, so I might have to use this, because at least it's the right color, and then obviously we can put things onto it anyway, and it kind of is the same brick kind of style, just doesn't have the actual patterns of brick inside it. It's in the brick section, so I'm guessing that they are brick, but who knows. We also at some point need to do the entire of all of the rooftop gardens, and I feel like that's going to take quite a while, but it's basically just adding a bunch of greenery and random trees and stuff like we've done with that other one, but I guess it's kind of different depending on the house, whether the people want all of those things on top of their house. But yeah, now looking at this bottom part, we've got one little window here which is basically the same as the other side. It's almost the exact same style actually as it's sort of laid out in the other house, except it's got a very much more wooden door, so it's like this kind of door instead. But can we get that in white? We can get that in white, perfect. So I'm going to use that door, and then I'm going to go with the same panels that we used for the other side, just because it does make it look like the most realistic, I think, to these sort of big, like more sealed doors. Actually, these ones don't have any windows at all, so I could just go with 2 like white doors like this and it would still work. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that instead, and then we'll just flip them around. There we go, that looks all right. Then it's basically got the exact same balcony that we've got over here. I think with the 2 right next to each other, I'm going to go ahead and just add the balcony in first though, just so that we can get the right lineup. And then what I did in the last one was basically just grab 2 of these windows and just stick them right next to each other like this. And then we actually have a slightly smaller window this time, which is kind of similar to these ones. I think it's a bit more square like this, and it's just here. Actually, it's a little bit closer towards the center like that. Then we do also have one potted plant on our little balcony here too. I'm gonna go with this one just because the pot kind of looks kind of round in the actual reference itself. There we go. I think that's about right. The last little bit that I want to include is there is this box down on the street that has like a plant on top of it. I think personally it looks really similar to this thing, so I'm just going to include this. It does have a bin next to it as well, which I am going to include just for realism as well, but I am just going to make it a bit smaller because it seems to be quite a small bit. Okay, so I think that's that final house done on this side. We can then move over to the other side where we've got quite a bit to do. It's basically just all of this remaining length. I'm going to split it up now because I think it's probably similar in terms of it being like 5 and 5. Yeah, it kind of looks it from looking at the reference. So I'm going to split it up again because there seems to be sort of a pattern here of them all being very similar. We can then get an idea of sort of how many more we have. Okay, so I've fiddled around and we have another 4 houses on the other side of the road to do. So let's see if we can complete those in this episode here. So on Google Maps, this was the last house that we did here. And then we've got obviously this next one. A lot of these ones seem to be very overrun with like ivy. So they are a little bit harder to do, but let's see whether we can do it. This one does have stairs as well right at the top, so that's another set of stairs to include too. This one is actually a very busy looking house, so it might take me a little bit longer, but we'll see if we can sort of pull off all of this like bushy iviness as well. So I'm just gonna add in these top sections again just so that we've got those windows. Okay, so I've amended all of these rooftop sections. We then do have the black railing instead of grey this time, and there does also seem to be an additional little balcony bit coming off of this side, which we don't normally have, so that's going to be a little bit different. It does mix it up between the grey and the black in terms of railings. This one is black, so we can go ahead and add both of those in. Now I've got to decide as well whether I want to do it a balcony like this on this bottom section here where we've got the 2 windows, or whether I want to do it the same as I've just done the other ones, like where we're using this pre-made balcony, because it is slightly smaller if we make it, like if we use the bracket key to make it smaller, so it looks slightly better when it's a little bit lower down. I think I'll use these ones just because they look a little bit nicer. Then wildly, this house is actually like mint green, which I didn't notice until now. I thought it was just like a weird color effect. So let's see if we can get like this same color. I feel like it might be really difficult. This one's similar, so if we can't find another mint green, yeah, there's barely any green colors, so I think we're gonna have to use that one. We do have this one as well, but this is like a very weird brick shape and it's like really defined and I'm not a fan of it. Or we've got this one, but this one again, it's quite like thick bricks, so I think let's go with this one. We need to go grab our roofing as well, which I'm just gonna like copy this one I think, and then we can just make it smaller. Okay, then the windows at the top wise, I'm gonna go with these ones again just because they fit really nicely and they have those little like individual window bits that I think look the most realistic to what's actually on there. Looking like further down the house then, we've got some bikes, many plants, a couple of bins, and then obviously on the bottom part of the house itself, it's got like these white like wooden panels that go like all the way down, and then we've got a sort of hidden window because there's so much ivy that you can barely see it. We do have wooden panels I think that look similar to what's on there, so it might be easier just to literally stick them on like this. And from the looks of it, do they go all the way? They don't go all the way across, but they go to where the front door is, which I'll do in the middle here. And then our front door is basically the same as the last one that we used. Or we have this one, which is a little bit cleaner. I don't know. They're very similar. I think I'll go with the other one just because this one's a bit too bright. Then finally, windows wise, I think I'm going to go with these ones just because it does have these 6 separate panels. There is actually panels directly above here, and I'm wondering whether I could just do that. Yeah, that actually looks really cool. I like that. And then we've got the hidden window as well that's on this side. I think the hardest thing about this challenge is not trying to replicate it. It's trying to get the camera in a good angle, because if you see, if I try and get a good angle of this, because there's a whole building on the other side, it just keeps dipping me in and out, and it's super annoying to try and get it so that it's at the right angle that I can actually decorate and still see it. I think we could go for this one for this sort of more hidden window, just because we're not going to see these weird edges that I'm not a big fan of anyway, because we're about to cover the whole thing in ivy. So to do that, I'm going to use the same technique that we've been using, where we basically just use this little tree that, well, it's quite big, but I'm going to make it a little bit smaller like this, stick it right out the front, and then we can then pull all of the ivy coming off of it across the actual building. And then I'm just using like varying sizes of ivy just to make it look more realistic. I think, yeah, we can do under there. It does go across the actual balcony itself, which I'm going to use the same ones that we used over on the other building to do that. The only annoying thing is they're slightly different shades of leaves, so it doesn't look like amazing. It, like, weirdly just sticking it like there is actually kind of accurate. There you go, I think that's about right. That actually does kind of look as crazy as it looks in the picture. There is some more as well going just by the side of this door here, which I'm tempted to just grab another one of those trees, but I think I will just build it down. We then have this weird block thing directly like in front, which they've got a bunch of plants on. I'm not too sure what that even is, so let's see if we can find anything that's sort of similar to that. I might need to sort of make something that is the same size, so I'm going to use these little blocks in order to do that. Then we can go ahead and add in all of our additional plants and things as well, all the way across here, and then it also has two bikes leaning up against this thing, just using like a variety of like little ones, because there does seem to be quite a few small ones, and I want them all to be like the same height too. There does also seem to be some pink flowers as well, which they're sort of similar to these. I think that's about right. And then there is some additional ones on this side as well as a couple of bins. I'm just going to use these ones, I think, because they're quite easy to place. And then let's go grab a bin. Been using these ones just because I think they kind of look the most binny. There aren't any that look like the ones in the references where they have like the metal lids on top. And then finally we've got two bikes outside, which hopefully I can put the two in and they don't look too messy, but I think we'll have to see. I think they're both red actually, but we'll mix up the colours a little bit just so that they do look different. There you go, that looks pretty good. I think that's pretty accurate for that house. We can then move on to the next house, which let's have a look at, see what that looks like. So it's like got a blue door on the bottom, yeah, and then a regular, like the actual front door is blue as well, and then they weirdly also have a big bunch of plant matter coming out the side of it, but it seems to be more of a tree rather than like ivy like these ones. Then it's got two very basic white doors, again stairs that lead up. Okay, so this one shouldn't be too difficult to do. It seems like there's not really like a massive amount going on with the actual house itself. I actually don't even know if there's anyone living here, as both the curtains are drawn and this whole section seems to be boarded up. So of course going to start by just adding in our windows at the top. Then what windows does it actually have at the top? I think they're basically the same as the ones we have been using. They don't look any different. I only really think I'm changing up these windows that we pick here if they look particularly different from all the rest of them, but they all seem to have very similar windows. I don't think they've been done up or like changed very often. This one's actually very strange because it doesn't have the balcony going across the windows, it only comes up to here. So that's completely different from the other ones that we've been doing. So for this one we just have a classic white sort of brick, so I think I'm just going to go with this one that we've been going with. I did like it because the brick actual texture is like very minimal, so it doesn't kind of overpower the rest of the build. I'm going to go with white rims for this. I think it actually has grey in the reference, but actually it's got brown down here. Actually, okay, I'll leave the brown, but I'm doing the top part as white just because it looks a little bit funny otherwise. And then we have this bright blue front door, which I'm hoping we can get it as bright as it looks on the reference. We actually can't get a good look at the front door literally because of this big mound of plants that is directly in front of it. Just basing it off of colour though, it's actually the exact same colour as this, so I might include this and we'll hide it a little bit in the trees just so that it looks a little bit more realistic. Actually, it's not hidden that much in that one, it's hidden in the other one. We've got to add in these big blue like double doors as well, which weirdly enough is actually really similar to these colours, so adding in this would probably work quite well, although it does have windows, which is kind of annoying. Are there any that have windows? Okay, what I think we could do instead is add, I'm trying to think of if there's a way I could add the windows. We could add windows directly above it. I feel like given the streak of what we've been doing so far and all of the houses seem to have windows above them, I'm gonna assume that this one also has a window above it, and then what we can do is basically just add in a window there, and then we'll add two windows here just to have that effect of having additional windows. I'm gonna move it over though, just because we do have that big plant right in the middle. Let's see if we can find something. I was thinking this, but it is gonna overtake like a lot of the house. which is kind of realistic to what it actually looks like anyway. And then what I could do is add some additional ivy, but it's not the same shade, which is kind of annoying. This one's a little bit better though. Yeah, I feel like that looks all right. And then we just need 2 small windows directly above. I think I'm just going to go with these cute little square ones. I'm going to do them like, is it one directly above? It is. So this one might be more like that, but it is in the center. We'll do it there. I think that looks all right. Cool. And then that's that house done, because there isn't really a lot else going on actually in that house. I mean, there's a tiny plant pot directly in front of it, which we could include. It's just a little black pot in the middle of the floor, and I'll just stick it there, I guess. If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, now I am back. I'm ready to do the rest of these builds. This may be a bit jarring, but I did just go for a haircut in the middle, and this is actually 2 separate videos that I'm putting together. It is the same day, but I had a haircut in the middle of the day, which is why my hair now looks different. But let's continue on with all of these houses. Hopefully it doesn't look too weird for you guys suddenly switching to a different haircut midway through the video. So we have done this little white house with the blue door. We're now going to do the house next to this, which is this weirdly gothic, like black house. It even has like different windows compared to all the other ones, so clearly this person was going for like a clear aesthetic here. They also have planters all the way across here, which are actually really similar to the pink house. If we have a look, the pink house also has these little planters directly above the windows. These ones are weirdly actually on the back section though, kind of further away from where the windows actually are. We only have 2 more of these houses to do, so we're going to do this one and then the little white one that's right next door. That one's going to be quite hard to do as it actually has like little triangles all the way across the wall, but we'll see if I'm able to do anything like that. So obviously going to start with our little windows that are up here, and they do just like stretch completely across for this one. Weirdly, they are like, they look really small on here, but I don't know if it's the weird perspective that we have on this. I would like to use like these little skinny ones, but I think they might actually be a bit too small. Let's see. They're quite small. If we could get just plain square ones, I feel like it would be a little bit better. Okay, this one kind of works. There are 4 in a row, but we're not able to do 4. Could we do 4 even if we did the little ones? We couldn't really, because I think they're all 1 square, so we're just gonna have to ignore that part of it, I guess, and just go with these 3 small little ones instead. I think we're gonna go with like a dark gray. I'm gonna see what we can get in the windows and things first, and then I guess we can go ahead and do amend them all as possible. It's kind of black, but I wouldn't do just black walls, just because then the house will kind of all blend into each other. It's actually better to just do a really dark gray. It does have those windows though going basically the entire length of this bottom section here, but I'm gonna put in the doors and things first just to make it a bit easier. Weirdly, the door is like has the exact same window as all of the rest of them, so I'm just gonna, I guess, try and see if I can find a door that looks the same as that. It's basically this one, which I'm then gonna have to try and find windows that match this same. Oh no, hang on, it's only 4. It's a 4 window one. Can we get that? Like a 4 pane glass window? Okay, we can't, so I'm gonna have to just go with that one. That I do want it in like a slightly darker grey. I think this is as dark as we're actually gonna go, and then I need to see if I can find windows that kind of look like this pane of glass. Okay, this one's pretty similar, so what I think I'm gonna do is do it like that, and then I could just stick it in the middle. It doesn't perfectly represent what it looks like though, which is kind of annoying. We could do that. I was hoping I could find one that's just 1 square, but I can't seem to find it. Actually, is it this one? Oh, okay, this one works. So we'll put everything back and then we'll do it again. That kind of works. It's sort of the same color. Then we need the little windows, which I'm hoping come in grey. If they don't, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Is it the same grey? Oh, it is. Perfect. And then we can literally just go all the way across, which again is a little bit annoying because it's not the exact same size. I wonder if we shift everything over whether we could fit another window in, but I don't think we could. And it will be completely off, so I might just have to deal with them being a little gappy. An alternative is that we actually go with a different window. So we've got like this window, which actually looks more realistic to what is there, but it doesn't match the door. But I think it's kind of fine. It's okay. It looks more realistic to what's actually on the reference. Then we have 2 balcony doors which actually look exactly like this, which is pretty perfect. I think we can now go ahead and just add in the other bits. I don't know if I want to have it be an actual balcony that looks similar to these ones. Can you get these ones in grey? You can get those ones in grey, so it'd probably be better to go with these, even though it's a slightly more modern look. There's no other ones that fit it a bit better, is there? I mean, there's the ones that we put on the actual pink house, but they're not really the right shape. I think these ones are fine if we can make them grey instead. Yeah, they look fine. Then we can go ahead and pick our walls for this one. I realise that we haven't put all of our pipes in either, but I can do that after. And then I'm going to go with probably one that we've used before. We've got a few different, I think it's like this kind of colour that's like this darker grey will probably work quite well. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. We then need to do our plants that are all in the back section. There is a couple of bins as well just right next to here that I don't know whether I should leave those two, but I think I'll probably add like a couple in there. So for our plants, we used these last time, which I think these look perfect for the kind of style that it is up there. I think I'm gonna just basically squish, it kind of goes all the way across actually, so I could just do that, but last time I kind of combined a few, so maybe it'd be better this instead. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Can't really tell on here, but I think that there's not stairs that lead up. Yeah, no, there's no stairs that lead up to this one. Then I'm gonna add the couple of bins that we have down here. I'm probably just gonna add one big one and maybe a small one, or maybe better if they're actually the same size. We'll just do two like that. Yeah, I think that's kind of it for that one. So let's move on to our last house, which is over here. This one also doesn't have any stairs that lead up to the like balcony bit, although from the looks of it, this one does have like an entire balcony out the front. This one's actually really cute. I like this one. I don't know if we're going to be able to replicate these, but I'll see what I can do. So again, it's mainly white brick, so I'm going to go with this same one that we've got here. Okay, so sadly I can't really find anything that works the same way. The only thing I can think is that I can make this small and then just do like multiple of them all the way across. I don't think it looks too bad, so I could do that just to make it have sort of the same like color scheme, just because I guess it is like a little bit more unique. There's sadly just like nothing that is like that triangle shape and that I could get in that same color. I even checked like all of these things and there's just nothing that is as similar as that, but I don't think it looks too bad. It's added in the windows, and now let's make our cute little balcony bit as well. I am gonna make the balcony though rather than use a pre-made one, just because it is slightly longer. And then our windows do also have these little flaps coming off them. This is the only one that I can really find that has that, but it is way too big. So let's see if there's any other slightly smaller versions that would work better. Okay, this one's definitely smaller. It's a slightly different shade and it does kind of cut into that edge part a little bit. I guess let's see if we can wiggle it into the center. I don't know if that'll work. It would still end up with them touching, which actually looks worse. I've like pulled it in as much as possible. I think it kind of works. The sizing is just like a little bit off. Yeah, I think that looks okay. We'll stick with that. That's fine. We also have a square plant directly in here. See if I can match the color so it's white and then it's got like purple flowers in it. This one I think works close enough. Yeah, that's cute. And then we got to do the bottom part of it as well, which is like weirdly similar to the last one that we did in that it's got loads of windows that are all just like going across that are the same size. If we're going to do that, I think let's grab this one first and we can build off of that. Okay, I actually think that this is basically perfect, so I'm going to use this, but it actually doesn't use any of these taller bits, and unfortunately it says that it's white, but it doesn't feel like it's totally that white. It looks a little bit grey, but it just looks too perfect to not use. And what I could do is actually just make these grey just so that at least it kind of meshes in a little bit better. We then also have two plants directly outside the front door in little boxes. Oh, I also just realised that there's a chair next to that black house here, so I'm gonna add that in as well. Just pop it there. Then for our plants out front, I think I'm just gonna use these ones. They're actually very small though, so we'll just go with like 2 times down the size, and then that looks pretty accurate. Okay, yeah, and then we need to go across now and do the bit that for some reason I always forget, which is all of these pipes that go up the side of the wall, and it seems to just be like black ones pretty much all the way down the road. There's some houses where it seems to skip it, but it's definitely on these two here. Then there isn't one between those two. Okay, so that is actually all done then for those ones. So we've got still the rooftop to do, but I don't think that should be too difficult to do. Basically what I'm going to do is just do something similar to this, maybe add a couple of barbecues and things to various ones, but they do have just like a few random plants and things growing up there. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is we'll section the ones off. If there's no like stairs going up, I'll do it like that so that you can still reach these other sides. Then I think what I can do is stretch this kind of going all the way across here, and then the same on this side, and then for this one I think I'll just do a little one there. and then we could do maybe like a seat or something over there. Then on the other side, I'm probably going to do something similar. Think let's do it like this on this side here, then I'll stretch this all the way around. But again, it seems to like cut off there, so this person would have basically just like a really long garden. This is very much going to be just sort of making it up as I go along, because we have literally no references for the top part of these roofs, but I'm basically going to try and just do something similar to what I've done there. So we're going to go with a few trees scattered around, just going with all the ones that are like sort of small, so they don't take up like huge amount of room in these like literal 1 square sized like lots. Okay, so that's looking okay. I'm then going to go in with all of these little bushes and basically just make them smaller and just sort of scatter them around, I guess. There isn't really like a lot of thought, I guess, that I can put into this. I think I'm mainly just trying to stick to individual like plants and then just spreading them around. I will then go through and maybe add like bird feeders or like barbecues and things just to make it a little bit more unique to each area, or like that it's being used as more than just like a little garden where you can grow like plants and stuff. I could also put some planters and things around. Okay, so now I've added sort of just a bunch of greenery, various trees, bushes, grass and things like that just to make it look a little bit more realistic. Then we've also got I think we've got a small fence that I think I put around this one as well. So we can now go ahead and just add those in. And that's basically just to sort of section it all off away from the pavement, or like pavement, concrete floor thing. So now that we've added all of these little sections on top of our roofs, we can go ahead and just add in some additional little bits that I think will make it feel a little bit more unique. So for that, it's just going to be anything from these little benches. I quite like these ones that we added on top here just because they look a little bit more rustic and kind of what I'd imagine that you would see on literally like the top of like a building or in like a secret garden or something like that. So I'm just going to add a few of those scattered around. I will maybe change it up as well so that we can have some different ones, just because it makes sense that not everybody has the same like ones around. I'm even going to put that one on top of grass, and then I might just add one to the other side somewhere, maybe here. Yeah, that kind of works there. Then I do want some that are just like regular benches, thinking like these in wood. Yeah, wood looks. Thinking as well I could include like a little table and chair or something over there. I like these little metons. Again, I think that's pretty cute. And then I'm going to go back over here and just add another one of these maybe here. Then I might add one on this side, or I could add it here. Yeah, we'll add it there so it kind of matches and sits like near the other one. Then I'll add, do I want another one? Might add one here just because we have a little gap in those like bushes that we've added in. Then other outdoorsy things, I'm thinking we could include some of these, which is just like little barbecues. Might put one just at the end here, or we could go with a slightly more modern one, maybe just like this. I don't want it to stand out too much, but the other one here, I'll pop one there. And then we've got this one, which is the slightly larger one, which makes sense. It'd have a bit more money, so I might do like a bit more of an extravagant barbecue, something like that one. I think is fine. Then we got this whole section over here, which I was contemplating doing like planters in. Let's see how that looks though. Yeah, I think that could look kind of cool. We could do 3. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I am actually contemplating putting like an actual just table and chairs in the middle here too, just because this is such a big space. I might remove that just so that we can make it look like it stands out a little bit more. We could actually just do a bench. I think a bench might be quite cute if I can find like a bit more of a modern or like a plain one, something like this. Hey, that's actually cute. I like that. Then I think the last thing that I kind of want to include is just like a bunch of individual plants. Or actually we could put, if we've got, I know that there's like maybe bird boxes or like fountains and things as well, maybe. Yeah, here's like a little bird thing. I could put that over here where it's a little bit more like sparse for like objects. And yeah, we do have these little bird houses as well that I might just stick a few of those around. And then yeah, finally I'm just gonna add a few little potted plants around just to make it feel like it's not just I feel like it feels more lived in if there's like actual potted plants as opposed to just like bunches of trees and bushes and things. I'm just going to basically scatter a few around some of the objects that are in. We could put some flowers and stuff on these tables, just kind of picking random ones that I feel like just make it look like it's a bit more filled in. Okay, I think this side is looking pretty good now. We can move over to this other bit. I'm basically just going to do the same thing and just plop a bunch of potted plants around. I think it primarily makes it feel more lived in because obviously they'd have to be probably watered instead of just like letting them sit there. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good then, as our final road is complete. And there we go, the entire road from the film Love Actually. I think this came out looking really cool. I really like all of the little gardens on top, and I like how realistic the actual actual street is. I will be uploading this onto the gallery under HextraHunt, so you can download it there. I think that this would actually look really cool if you wanted to make them into flats for the new For Rent expansion pack, or you could even turn them all into retail stores or something like that if you wanted to just have it in your world. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already. I post long content like this every Wednesday and Friday at around 6 PM, and I try to post shorts the rest of the week. I will be having a little break after this though guys, just for the festive holidays. So if you don't see me for a week or so, I will be back in January for more regularly scheduled content. I hope you all have a great festive season, and I hope you all have a great evening.